most of our fears are overblown, but how should we deal with fears that rationally we recognize are unrealistic? So,
How do we come to an awareness that they're unrealistic?
no, not that. We may reach awareness of they're unrealistic, and yet we're still obsessive compulsive, let's say, uh, even though we know that, oh, this is really unrealistic for me to
Right.
be washing my hands constantly and to ward something off.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm asking at the emotional level, how do we get out of our head totally and into the emotional level of resolving this stuff?
Right. The general answer I would offer is that any successful treatment of anxiety requires not just insight. We can have all the insight in the world about how irrational and unreal it is, but action, corrective action that again involves some form of exposure that proves to us in our experience, our lived experience, the fear doesn't have the power to carry out its threat. And then if we look at insight as from on the level of the mind and action as the level of the body, I like to add that if you have a spiritual perspective, and yes, I'm very much a holistic or transpersonal guy,
Hmm.
then we put those insights and actions in the higher context of what a spiritual perspective offers. So action is sometimes an instantaneous kind of thing that can even happen in our thoughts. If an insight is true enough, there's an action involved that says, I am looking at this fear, facing it in my mind, and discovering it's not real. That automatically leads to a grander spiritual perspective because, hey, I'm not this small, vulnerable figure I thought I was. I am
Hmm.
something bigger that can stand up to what was previously so threatening. So
Yeah.
we need the right combination of mind, body, spirit, or insight, action, and that spiritual context. But there's another answer. The techniques for resolving anxiety are many and varied, but I believe if you really understand your core fear and chief defense, then the most successful resolution of anxiety means doing the opposite or bypassing the chief defense. So you've got your fear and then you've got your defense, which is like a lid on it. Lift that lid off, expose yourself to that fear. That's the action component, and discover that it doesn't have the power to hurt you. If you're exposing yourself to the core fear, having removed the chief defense, that's at the root level. There's no deeper level to go. So you have a resolution of the anxiety that's giving rise to the entirety of your struggles.
Mm.